You said Rowan?
Ruea.
Ruea.
Ruea. It's okay. Rue is fine.
Rue?
Like
okay.
kangaroo.
All right, well, Rue, thank you for joining me. This is the first SimuCon book interview. Oh, wait. No lapels.
Mine's green. Is that good?
Yes, that's good. I'm going to hold this up. Cool. All right. So let's make sure the sounds are coming through real quick. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. There's a 30-second delay.
I can see.
It's not like the world's greatest audio quality, but it is coming through.
It's okay.
Well, Rue, thank you for being my first victim, okay?
My pleasure.
So, you've been playing, you're DragonRealms player?
I played Gemstone briefly, but I mostly played DragonRealms.
Okay. Well, what got you into that?
I had a friend who said, "You like RPGs, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Cool. I'm going to make you play DragonRealms now." And she used her husband's account to make my first character, which I still play to this day, and sat me down and walked me through it, and then immediately quit the game. But I stayed because I had already made the commitment, and it's been 20 years.
Why did your friend quit?
I have no idea. She's been back and forth many times. So, you never really leave Simu. You just sort of cycle out briefly and then
That's
come back.
what I hear. So, this is a very different kind of experience from a lot of games that a lot of people are probably familiar with. It's text-based.
Yes.
So, what's that like? What's that world like?
It's preferable for me. I actually get motion sick from a lot of graphics, which is why I don't play most, video games, like PC games and stuff. And I love to read, so for me, it was a perfect storm. My dad actually played some of the first ever text-based RPGs where it was just computer prompts, where it was like, you see a stream, you go left or right, and he taught me those when I was a really little girl, and so when I got to DR, it seemed like a very natural transition up from what I'd been taught as a kid.
So what was your favorite text-adventure game, or text-based game?
Oh, I don't remember the names of them, honestly, I was so little. There was one where you were a knight and you were trying to find a castle, and I don't remember what it was called. I wish I did. Now I feel bad. Sorry, Dad.
I played a little bit of Zork, so I'm familiar with that. But
Zork sounds familiar. That might have been one of them. He played a lot of them. He was a bit of a nerd himself.
By the way, chat, yell at us if the audio sucks.
Don't yell at me. I'm very nice.
Yes, yell at me. Yell at me. So you've been playing for over what,
about between 17 and 20 years, depending on how you want to do the math. Because I did take a break at one point. I had a kid, so I had to go do that mom thing. But then I came back because he could feed himself. It seemed fine.
So your kids play?
No, okay, no. I have one child, and he is not even remotely interested. He's an outside kid, which is fun for him, but not so much for me because it's hot outside.
So where are you from?
I'm from South Texas.
South Texas, okay.
Yes, Satan went down there and went, "Oh God, it's too hot." So my family decided to move there. That's how that went.
Well, how do you like the weather here?
Oh, but currently I'm loving it. A cold front in August is always a nice pleasure. So yeah. I'll take that.
Well, how are you enjoying St. Louis so far?
Oh, it's always great. I'm always excited to come here. I feel like it's very condensed when you're at the con. Anywhere I go with these people, and we are usually going in a 1 mile radius of the hotel room. But what I've seen is lovely. And somebody did take me to the arch. It's just an arch, it's not a bridge, right? Yeah. It's an arch. Okay, somebody took me to show me that, and I was very impressed by it. So that and watching all of my friends eat gummies has been hilarious.
Well, I'm glad at least somebody's impressed by the arch.
Are you not impressed by the arch?
I mean, when I was a kid, maybe.
All right.
It's just, when you live here, you see it. Kid now? You see it all the time. Well, at heart.
At heart. All right, we'll take that.
Are you doing anything other than SimuCon?
Like what?
Seeing the arch again.
No, I'm actually running the karaoke night on Saturday night, so a lot of what I'm doing while I'm here is getting energy levels up and throwing late night parties to get everybody to have fun, because then they're more inclined to continue the fun and sing really loud 80s songs for me on Saturday. That's how I roll.
So 80s is the theme? We
are doing an 80s costume party night, and then towards the end of that, we're going to switch over to karaoke. We're going to do an 80s power hour. We've already decided the songs that Skip's going to sing. He does not know. We did not get choices. And then after the 80s Power Hour, we're going to switch over and do whatever anybody wants to. I expect a lot of show tunes because this is a big group of dorks.
It is indeed.
It's indeed. But we love them.
Indeed. So tell me about your character.
My character's name is Ruea. She is no metagaming with this information. She is technically a gilded thief, but she's been serving as the court bard of Therengia for many years. And prior to that, she was actually the court bard in Elanthia, which is a different province. She is very much a socialite, fashionista, loves to write plays, put on performances, and really create scenarios where other people get to shine. Like, she'll never be on stage herself, but she'll write and direct everything. And that's a lot of fun because a huge part of DR is that we're all weird introverts, except for me. And so sometimes it takes having somebody drag you out from under your coffee table and force you to participate to make you realize that you do want to make some friends.
Yes, like today, we'll see.
Exactly. Just grab by the ankle and pull. It's fine. I'll show you what to do. Don't put your back out. Lift your legs. But it's been she's just a very fun character to play. She can be very flighty and silly, but when we're like having a crisis in our game right now where magic has gone out, and it's being fun to explore a different part of her personality where she is actually really good in a crisis and handles things well. So basically, it's just, silliness, chicanery. Are you taking notes? Did I say something weird?
No, well, you mentioned you were the court bard?
I am. My character is the court bard of Therengia, which is one of our 5 major provinces.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very fancy. Lots of clothes.
So aside from these amazing parties, what does a court bard do?
Mostly the amazing parties. I do all of the social events for Theren Court. We have many orders, official and otherwise, that run wonderful events for the province and have a lot of people participate. But for the court purposes, I run any plays that are done in the theater have to at least involve me because I have to approve them for the Baron. I do something called the Blood Ball, which is 50% violent sparring and 50% fancy dress party. So everybody gets dressed up in their finest gear or their bloodiest armor, and we go to a seating box, and it's kind of violent, but everybody gets to have something that they enjoy at a party, so it gets people to participate. I do game nights periodically. We do things with other provinces to get people to mingle more because people can get very secular in their one area. I'm sure that you have them in Gemstone too.
I've only played a little bit.
Well, people will get to where they like to be in the game, and then they'll never move again. And so this way you can lure them out. It's exactly as fun as it sounds. Unlike that blonde witch from Hocus Pocus, where I sing the song and everybody comes out, except that it's just
I've not seen Hocus Pocus.
Oh my god! Do you have a mother?
I do.
Do you want me to talk to her?
I'm sure she's seen it probably.
I know. That's why I want to talk to her because you should have. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not judging you. I'm judging her.
I hear it's quite the cult
It's
classic.
wonderful. Do you have Disney Plus? You should watch it.
I do not have Disney Plus. I don't have any streaming service right now because I'm too busy doing my own streaming service.
You're amazing and fascinating and terrifying simultaneously, sir. I love it. I love all of this.
So fashionista.
Fashion, yes,
That's
yes.
why it sounds weird to some people because like it's all text-based. How are you a fashionista?
Well, in a game like DragonRealms and Gemstone as well, you have the ability to take your basic items like a pink dress, and with the help of a GM who is playing an NPC, you get to go in and add rare materials to it and customize the design and make it something that really reflects the personality of your character. My character, for example, loves clothing. So I think the final number was 280 custom dresses, and then jewelry sets to match everything, and they're all original alterations that I've written. And then I also am so lucky that the GMs allow me to help during our festivals, and I'm able to help people write their pieces that they go in and get customized with the GM so that people are able to get more done quickly. And really, it's just a really fun time to make people think about what their character is. People will come to me and say, well, okay, well, I want a sword. And then I get to ask them, okay, how did you get the sword? Was it stolen? Did you buy it? Did you make it?
So it's all character created.
Yeah, it's all character reflection, because a piece that your character is carrying around should be like a piece for yourself. Like, you picked your glasses because you liked them and they suited your face, not because they were the first pair that you saw. I assume. I don't know your life.
No,
I don't know your life.
More or less,
But
I guess. Yeah.
in DR, it's very much the same way, where when we're getting a piece made, you have to stop and think about what your character is going to do with it, where they're going to wear it, how often, what materials, if it's a ranger, do they really want to be wearing the finest silks, or should they be in leather? And that kind of detail-oriented designing can help builds a character out because it forces you to think past where you've already gone with it.
And sometimes, I think last year they did like player portraits.
Yes.
So you can actually get your character drawn to see what it would look like, or what some people interpret it look like.
Yes, and they're actually, I think, doing them again this year.
Okay.
I think they are. Don't hold me to that. If they are not, please don't hit me or anything. I'm very delicate. So delicate. You can tell by looking at me, right?
I don't hit you.
I'm certainly not swarthy looking. Sorry. Hi. Sorry, I'm saying weird things.
Plays.
Oh yeah.
What are these?
Oh, I write fully scripted plays where it's got multiple characters. Let's see. What's the biggest one I did? We just call it the Paladin play at this point, but it was actually a historical review of the Paladins Guild, how it was formed, the battles that they've been through, the creation of the code, things like that. But I was able to do it through the eyes of somebody joining the guild. So I wrote this whole play out with, I think I had 8 or 9 different characters in it, and a lot of the people that were in the play are here. And it was a really fun way to get everybody to take a night off from training and watch an acted out performance that gave them more history about the game. Because one of the hardest things if you're coming into a game like this is with so much history. We've been doing this since 1992. Yes. And so how do you get caught up? And plays are a really fun way to incorporate real history from the game into an even more fantastical setting, if you can imagine.
So Elanthia is the world.
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Elanthia.
Okay. And that's both Dragonstones and Gemstones. So.
Yes, Gemstone happened several hundred years in the past. I'm the future. I'm sorry, Gemstone. It's going to go downhill. We blew up the moon. A dragon came down. Now we have cat people and Rakash.
Well, if you have cat people, maybe I should switch out the lanyards. I don't know.
You know what? I can find you a cat people for your lanyard. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll make it work.
Okay. All right. So, what do you think of the text-based game? Well, you've already answered that.
I love text-based games. I do. I've played Gemstone before. And I will say that going from DR to Gemstone is kind of like going from really hot water to really cold water. Like, it's just like you're in the same environment, but it's very different somehow. But I loved it just the same. Gemstone does their designs in a very different way than DR does, so I got to really enjoy that.
And there is, from what I've been told from last year I was here, some people say that DragonRealms was designed to run roleplay. But that more of the roleplay people, the blue lanyard people, the Gemstone people. What's your take on that?
That Gemstone role plays more than we do?
Yeah.
Oh, I strongly disagree with that. I think that Gemstone has a lot more GM-led support scenarios, led RP scenarios, and we have fewer GMs, so we have to do a lot more player-led stuff, and that at times can reduce the amount of RP that's happening because, do I want to get involved in this guy's personal drama or do I want to go hunt something? And you pick what you choose. But everybody that I know is really committed to creating situations for role play, creating really in-depth characters, and working together to create a strong RP community. I will say that Gemstone has a lot more planning involved. Like, DR is just constant improv. We never know what we're doing from one second to the next. We're figuring it out. Gemstone is more structured, and they've really thought and worked together how they're going to do certain things. For example, in Gemstone, the one thing that really surprised me was that you guys don't PvP at all.
No? Is that even a feature of the game?
It's a feature, but when they are going to PvP, they talk about it first. Like, they'll be like, hey, I want to involve my character like this. I wanted to involve yours like this. They get consent from everybody behind the scenes, and then they bring it into the game. Whereas in DR, you might just get stabbed in the face, like at any given time. Right now, I might get stabbed in the face. I'm not even logged in.
Wait, so they can attack you when you're logged out?
No, I meant like personally.
Oh, okay.
Somebody might just come stab. You never know. It's been a long day.
Well, this crowd. We'll see.
They're crazy people, and I love them.
That's why I wanted to come back.
You coming back? You coming back to DR?
No, that's why I came back too.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I'm very much an outsider.
Do we need to enchant you into DR with the siren call of our lovely ladies or gentlemen, depending on your preferences?
You can try.
I generally succeed at what I try at.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we'll see how the night goes.
We're gonna make this happen.
All right. So role playing.
Oh God.
Sounds like it's more up your alley.
More up my alley, yes. That's my jam. I don't do the PvP, I don't do the hunting, I don't do the training. I'm just there for the role play and the clothes.
So hunting, what is that anyway? I know you said you didn't.
He's thrown his pen, just so you know. He threw it to the side.
Yeah, like 3 minutes ago, but I'm too embarrassed to get up and move it. So
He
yeah.
could have just used one of these markers, and I wouldn't have told anybody. It's okay though. Hunting for DR is both how we increase our ranks and learn our skills, as well as earn money, because the critters drop money, drop skins, drop boxes that you can pick and get treasures out of, gems, whatever. And so that's how we amass wealth in DR, unless you do it like I do, where you just either marry rich or sell a bunch of clothes.
Well, marriage, that is a mechanic in the game, very much so.
We do have a DR marriage mechanic, and it's really fun. I think we were all just sitting over there counting how many times we'd all been married in the game recently, and I think for most of it actually outstripped how many times we've been married in real life.
And it's hopefully not too much.
No judgment. No judgment.
Yeah, maybe it's their lives. They do what they want. I don't care.
Exactly.
So, what is the marriage? What is it like? The married character is it like just like you're a lifelong committed to this person, or is it?
Well, nothing's. That's not true. There are lifelong commitments. Okay, so the actual mechanic of marriage in game is you get something called a kiss rose from a cleric. And it's a magical rose, and the first person kisses it, you hand it to the second person, and they kiss it, and then your status in game changes to bonded, which means that you are able to utilize certain game mechanics, so you can sense your partner. If you focus on your partner, you can see physically where they are. You can unlock some higher tier affection mechanics like kissing and hugging, and just general smushy stuff. And it also modifies your consent for PvP and other things. So if I'm PvP open and you're PvP open and you attack me and my husband is also PvP open, he can come kill you.
Okay.
Whereas, and same for guarded and closed. It just creates a scenario where if there's a justifiable reason, a spouse can retaliate for harm against another spouse.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you married in the game?
No, I'm real good at getting married. I'm not real good at staying married in the game. What I've come to the conclusion of is I just like to be a little bit of a train wreck by myself. It's okay. I like to flirt and have fun. No desire to make anything serious because I have a kid. I'm in and out. I don't want to make somebody wait for me, and I don't like to wait for other people.
Oh, makes perfect sense.
I hope so.
So, do you use the erotic roleplay in the game, or do other players?
There is ERP in the game. We don't advertise it and we don't publicize it. But if you are in a room with a door that locks, which is like a private home or an in room, something like that, which you choose to do is your business, as long as it's all consensual and everything stays consensual. That's the consent is the big word in that conversation. And we have people where I'm sure that's primarily why they play, and then we have people that don't partake of that at all. So it's just really about what your preference is and making sure that you set your boundaries in terms of what you communicate with people.
It seems like a very underground kind of.
I mean, it's just like sex in any other scenario. We all know it's happening, but it's not necessarily dinner table conversation.
Right. Well, it is convention conversation?
It is. I mean, the drunker we get, especially.
Okay, all right.
The vodka flows freely. What can I say? It's like the spices. Just the vodka's flowing freely.
The spice must flow. The vodka must flow.
It must, if we're going to have this conversation.
All right. Maybe we'll circle back later tonight.
Love it.
So you don't do PvP, you said, too much in the stuff? Or?
I host a lot of PvP events. I attend a lot of PvP events. I personally don't like to engage in PvP because part of the personality of my character is that she is not someone who gets her hands dirty. Like, her constant joke is like, if I need to kill somebody, I'll pay to have it done. Because, like, why would she stain her clothes with your dirty, nasty blood? Like,
right. Well, you're a bard, so.
I am, among other things. I have fun.
Socialite.
She is a
fashionista.
And one of the most fun parts of it for me is that she has built a pretty strong relationship with a bunch of other players. Like, she has a good community around her. So I don't think if I ever had to actually really get into a PvP scenario, I don't think I would even get to do it. I think someone would just jump in before it even got to be my turn, which I'm fine with. I have no desire to. I'm against violence. I'm so gentle and soft.
Well, the future of the game.
Oh, are you asking me or are you telling me?
I'm asking you. What do you think the future has in store? What do you think, player-wise, company-wise, everything?
I think that in the last couple of years, the way that the management structure has changed and the amount of support that's now being given, Skippy is great, to our SGM and to our PGM, whatever, Nora, and the rest of the community has helped rebuild a lot of the good faith that we all had in the game. And we love our GMs, we love the community. But when you're playing for 20 years, sometimes you want things that aren't necessarily possible. Sometimes you feel entitled to things that you aren't necessarily entitled to. And sometimes they want to give you those things, but the time or the opportunity isn't there for them. And in the last few years, we have seen a huge surge of love from our staff, reminding us they do very much care about us. They do want us to keep playing. They do want the game to continue to succeed. And I think that as long as we continue that healthy communication between our staff parties and our player base, that the player base will stay at least stable, and hopefully now that we're starting some new marketing and advertising, bring in new players, because we do get new players. We get straight up noobs all the time. I'm a mentor. I'm part of the Mentor Society. So I get the privilege of going and helping people learn how to play DR. And I remember so clearly opening the game and being like, I don't know how to do anything. So I get to keep that perspective in mind. And as long as we've got a welcoming community and we're building and bringing people forward, I think that we have the chance to continue to grow and be a great game.
That's awesome.
I think so.
How do you feel about the monetization?
I think that it's a necessary thing. It's not something that mountain events, MC events are not my jam, because again, I don't do combat or hunting, but I do pay other people to do it for me. So obviously I benefit from it. I think that MC events are a great way to give the players what they want while satisfying the fact that this is a business. Yeah. This is a company, and they've got to keep the lights on, and they've got to keep the rum flowing for the rest of us. And so I think that they are not necessarily a necessary evil, but they're a necessary event. And I do really appreciate the creativity that the GMs put into making the events fun and unique, and constantly shifting around the prize pool so that it's engaging to want to go back. Like, oh, well, I played it last year, but look what we can do this year. And people jump back and go back.
So there's a lot of new content being added? There's
always new content. We have some of the most amazing content and copywriters for the game that I think that any game's ever had. I think that actual graphics-based games would benefit from the creativity of our content writers, because they have to represent everything written down. They can't give you a physical visual representation. Right. They have to evoke it for you in your imagination, and I think that we have just a wonderful crew that does great stuff. They always come up with puppies now. You can have a puppy follow you around every Doberman. The armor is constantly getting cooler and cooler. Rare materials are coming out all the time that are completely unique. It's just great. I love to watch it.
Okay. All right.
Tell me if I'm talking too much.
No, tell me as much as you want, because, well, there's not that many people here right now, so even if I interviewed everybody here, I'd be like, oh, well, I'm done.
I have to start recruiting for you. I'm really good at convincing people to do things they wouldn't normally do.
Okay. All right.
Like, you're going to play TR.
Well, we'll see, huh?
Yeah, you
try. Yeah. All right. Well, I was going to ask you, too. It's very expensive to get into, from what I hear. No, not to get into, but if you play for...
It depends on how you choose to play. There are free-to-play accounts. You can get a free-to-play account and never once have to sink a real dollar into the game. It will limit certain things. I would not say that DR is a play-to-win or is a pay-to-win, but it is definitely a situation where there are advantages, like the mountain... I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep calling them mountain time events when they're microtrans events. The microtrans events, the quality of the things that are available for prizes are usually above what you can purchase or make in-game, and those obviously can only be accessed through SimuCoins. And you do get a certain amount of those for free every month if you have a paid account. So you can build those up and pay for your entire MT event just based off of your account subscription or not. I mean, if you're going to start with a paid account, you can start with $15. And that's how much the basic subscriptions cost. I have never once had anybody log into the game that I know of and not had somebody tackle them and be like, hi, you're new, let me give you armor and stuff. I want to make sure you enjoy this. Like, the community is so...
They're very friendly. That's why I came back.
Yes, they're so friendly, and they're so determined to make people happy. You know, if you want to come play DR, we want you to come play DR. So we're going to help you get armor. We're going to help you get weapons. We're going to make sure that you know how to hunt, what's safe, what's not. We're going to take care of you. There's always somebody that's willing to jump out and be the guy that's like, let me show you the way. Let me be your Willy Wonka on this tour. I mean, the boat scene is real, though, in DR. Like, we will kill you on a boat a little bit, but then we'll bring you back. It'll be great.
Okay. So, what's your advice for new players? I think we're the only ones watching right now.
I don't. I'm delightful. People.
Oh no, we had 3, I guess.
Oh hi people. Advice for new players. Don't get so married to the idea of your character and the background that you've written for it that you become inflexible. Because we have people come in and they've already decided every single detail of who their character is and how they want to be perceived and how they want to be treated and how they want to interact. But you don't get to choose how somebody else perceives you. You don't get to choose how other people decide to interact with you. So have a general idea, have a good background, but be willing to adjust to the environment. Don't feel like you need to rush in and get the best gear, the best stuff, the most alterations. It's okay to take time to explore and learn the game and then commit to what direction you want to go in. Don't pick fights with people that you're not confident about, because there are people in this game who just want to roll you. PvP Guarded is a great starting place. And we have PvP stances. So if you're PvP open, that means anywhere, anytime, let's go. PvP Guarded means I only want PvP if it's related to an RP situation. So you can't just get ganked. Like if we're in an RP scenario and I slap you in the face, then you can now stab me. Which seems a little off for quid pro quo, but whatever. And then PvP closed means I do not ever want violence. I do not ever want to fight. And that doesn't mean that you get an invisible blanket put over you and you can act any way you want to and there are never repercussions. It just means if I can avoid violence, I'm going to avoid violence.
Okay. And there's these 3 different. Are they all one server, or is it like Shattered and Prime and?
We have Plat, which is our super high RP group, and so that's one subscription is Plat. You go over there and all you do is RP all day and night. We have Prime, which is like a 50-50 split of RP and hunting and potential PvP. And then we have the Fallen is what we call it, because they're terrible. They're fallen angels. And that's our anything flies. And they have some really fantastic, amazing, weird things over there. Penis hats, I've seen them. Just whatever you want. The Fallen has no rules. You can AFK script. You can do whatever you want to. And it's a great place to go if you're just like an agent of chaos.
So are they all different like servers then, or?
Yeah, they're all different subscriptions and all different servers. Prime is the usual one. Most of our player base is in Prime, but there are people in the other two.
They're all pretty active, or?
I mean, they're active. I wouldn't say they're pretty active. The largest population base is in Prime, and if you're going to play, you want to play with as many people that you can hang out with as possible, so most people will be in Prime. But a lot of people love the Fallen because they're the numbers guys. They're just there to watch numbers go, so they love the ability to AFK script and just do whatever they want and fight as they please.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the scripting.
Oh, yes.
So I talked to Quinlan about this, and it's a big part of DragonRealms from what he says.
Yeah. You are never ever allowed to AFK script in Prime. It's against the rules. If you get caught doing it, you will face a significant punishment, usually a warning and getting a percentage of your skills dropped, because they take it pretty seriously if they catch you. That said, scripting is allowed, and that's basically just automating what your character is going to be doing. Dantia over there is one of the best people I know at writing scripts, and so we use Lich as our survey thingy that makes it work. I don't know how to hunt. And so I know that hers, she can do all of the outfitting and crafting things. So she can make bows and armors and forging. Her script will do that. It will practice music. It will do all of her hunting for her. And so she's able to focus on making sure her numbers are adding up and making sure the math is good without having to hand type everything. Because I have at in my early days literally hand typed every command because I didn't know about scripting. Yeah. That's exhausting. And they can be as detailed or as simple as you want them to be. It's just whatever you want to do with it. My character makes bows, like bows and arrows, and I have a script that automates that, but I'm there watching it the whole time.
So you can't AFK it, but
no,
you can. Okay.
Yeah, you can automate, but you cannot, unless you're in the Fallen, you can't start a script and walk away. And why would you want to? It's just so fun to watch it all happen. They put a lot of time into those room descriptions and actions.
So you actually read it as it's scripted?
I do because I'm a big nerd. Not every time, but a lot of times, especially if for some reason I decide to go hunting, which very rarely happens, I like to watch what's happening because somebody put a lot of work into designing that area, designing those monsters, designing everything that's happening, and I like to appreciate their efforts.
Can you describe the combat? So someone reading the book who's ever played before might understand it.
Okay. Let me think about this for a second in a cohesive way. Our combat system is based off of the Dungeons and Dragons dice system, where you as a person have your stats and your skills and your AC, and so does the creature that you're fighting, whatever you're fighting. And so every time you put in a command, it's the same as if I was a fighter in D&D saying, I'm going to swing with the broadsword. I have to roll my dice. Did I connect? Did I beat their AC? And if I did, how much damage did I do? But the computer automates that for you. So we don't see that. We don't see those numbers. I know that in Gemstone you do see the numbers as they roll out, but we don't see that at all. We keep it all behind the scenes to keep our immersion level.
Makes sense.
But a lot of people, have actually written plugins for Lich and for Genie, which is the other operating system that we use, that will read out how the numbers worked out for you. They'll tell you the mechanics of the numbers. Okay. And so the higher your level, the higher your skill set goes, the more you'll move up in your hunting areas, and you get to watch your numbers go against theirs the whole time. And so we'll talk about numbers people, and that's what we mean. It's the people that like to watch how the numbers go.
So how long does it take usually to max out a character from level 1 all the way to the highest?
If you're going to go from Circle 0 to Circle 200, I believe the fastest it's been done without AFK scripting is about 18 months. And that is incredibly fast. It used to take 10 years to get to 150th. What? But we used to have something called wall ranks, which is your 4 ranks, like your 4 rank skills would go up normally, and then the 5th one would take 10 times as long to achieve. So it was like every 5th rank took 10 times longer than any other rank to achieve.
Okay, so it's exponential basically.
Yeah, but we got rid of wall ranks a while ago. So now it goes a lot faster. And they've streamlined a lot of things. And there are mixed feelings on that. Some of the old heads are like, oh no, you didn't work for it. And the new people are like, can we just enjoy the game? So it just depends on what you prefer, I guess.
What do you prefer?
I prefer silk and very expensive jewelry. Not a PvP. The numbers don't really matter to me because I'm not there for that. I honest to God don't even know what my character's skill levels are. I'm so sorry. I know I'm not a great person to talk to for that. But there are other people that I'll talk to. It takes
all types for the game. So
yeah, I'm here for the fun, not for the sweat. You know, good enough of that real life.
Any wild stories from the game?
Let's see. When my character was put on the Elanthia court, I was very new to the game. I had been playing for maybe 6 months, and it just worked out that I had the exact skill set and personality they were looking for, and it worked out really well for us.
Elanthia court, you said?
Yes, that was the first court she was on. She's been on 2. So different province. And so I'm new to the game. I really am still learning the mechanics. I'm still learning the lore. I'm not up to date, but I'm good at writing plays and putting on contests and game nights. So that's what I'm there for, and I'm learning as I go. People were very helpful. And then one day, the court advisor says, hey, we have to go to a meeting with the Ferdal, which is like the queen of that territory. And I was like, okay, cool. And we go up onto a mountain, and a literal dragon showed up. And the thing about DragonRealms is there are no dragons. There are no dragons.
There are
no dragons in DR. There are no dragons in DR. And a literal dragon showed up. And I'm a new player, and I have to say that the GM that was running this event was so phenomenal that it was the first time I ever clicked out of myself and was just there as my character. It was so immersive that I felt terrified for her. And that was what really, really got me into the role-playing aspect of the game, was this dragon came, and it was so magnificent, and it was so immersive and creative that it completely changed my perspective on how I wanted to play my character and how I wanted to play the game.
So this was not like an in-game dragon?
Yeah,
it was?
Yeah, it was an in-game dragon.
Oh, so they added one just for this experience?
They added it. We have always known in game that there is at least one dragon. But we don't see them. You can't have a pet dragon. You're not going to ride a dragon around. Any dragons that you see in game are created in some way, like they're a magical illusion or they're a toy or whatever. Okay. The only dragon that we have is the world dragon. So we used to have in Gemstone they have 4 moons. When in the very far in the future, when DragonRealms starts, one of the moons exploded and a dragon came out and came down and started destroying the world, and we had to lull it to sleep. And one of the gods is still there playing the harp for it to this day to keep the dragon asleep, and that's why we're DragonRealms, is because the whole world changed because the dragon.
So it's not like you're going to encounter them.
No, you're never going to encounter a dragon, and then all of a sudden there's this dragon, and we're like, nobody knew what to do, and it was crazy because I would play with these people that had been playing for 20 years. At that point, had been playing for 20 years, and they were just bowled over with excitement, and it was so contagious. It was one of the biggest things that I remember is that moment where we were all like, is that a dragon? That's a dragon. Is it going to eat us? What are we going to do? And you had to really dig into your character and think on your feet about what you were going to do about it.
So really what happened?
The dragon showed up and told us to we have a huntable creature in game called dragon priests, and they're exactly what they sound like. They are religious zealots who worship the world dragon, which is the one that came out of the moon that I just told you about. And their whole thing is killing humanity so the dragon and the dragon priests can take over the world.
I don't like them.
I don't like them either. And we had been the province that I was in at the time was having a really big problem with invasions and them coming and going. And we were slaughtering them pretty effectively because we had a great militia run by one of our other players that's here called Irel. And finally we got an envoy that said, hey, somebody wants to talk to you about this, but we didn't get any further information. And so we thought we were just going to like a diplomatic meeting with a dragon priest, and a goddamn dragon showed up. Full bore dragon showed up, and it was fascinating because none of us had ever seen anything like that before.
Was that the only time you've seen one?
That's the only time I've ever seen a real dragon in the game. And as far as I know, to the best of my knowledge, that is the only time that players have ever encountered a dragon in the game. Like
so you being there for that one moment
was a huge deal.
Okay.
And I was so new to the game. I had only been playing for 6 months maybe. And I was so new to the game that I just barely understood the significance of the dragon. So it was very interesting for me.
Any wild stories from SimuCon? SimuCon's gone by, perhaps?
Excuse me, sir. What happens within these walls stays within these walls. However, I will say Team Twerk has activated on multiple occasions. Karaoke has brought out some very interesting sides of very interesting people. And if you're going to pass out, make sure it's in front of your own hotel room door, not just a random person's. Because if they're not part of the con, they will get freaked out.
Okay. Yeah, I bet. I don't think I'm going to get too many. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll get drunk. Then I'll get a lot of good answers.
Oh, yeah.
People get a little.
Yes. Loose lips sink ships. Yeah. So
I'm going to get kicked out of this convention by the time we're done.
I hope so.
You've recorded too much. You've heard too much.
Like,
you gotta go.
Sir, and you're live streaming it, which is even more dangerous. Like, people are going to find out all of our little secrets now.
Yeah.